Hey guys, it's Vara, and today I wanted to talk to you about my modern Mardu Nahiri deck. This deck focuses on discarding for drawing or making your opponent discard 1/1 tokens that enter the field pretty early on with Lingering Souls and Young Pyromancer, and a hell of a lot of destruction spells. This deck moves really quickly, it's very efficient, and plus with the Mardu, you do have other options of things that you can switch in and out, and the sideboard is pretty effective. So let's get right into it. So I am starting out with 4 Young Pyromancer. This is, of course, whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 red elemental creature token for a 1 red, 1 colorless cost. You really want this in your opening hand. It is a very solid card. It helps spam the field really quickly. It helps spam the field so that you can stall out until you get your Bedlam Reveler for the prowess that has. It is a very low costing card. It is a very efficient card in this deck. You really want this in your opening hand, like I said. And of course, we're playing 4 Bedlam Reveler, which is a 6 colorless, 2 red cost, 3/4 body devil horror. It costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. It has prowess, so whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn, and whenever it enters the battlefield, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. This is of course a very good card since we're playing right around 29, I believe, instants and sorceries. This is a very fast moving deck. You don't want this card in your opening hand, but it is good after turn 4 or turn 5. It is a very good card overall in this deck. It really is the big beater of the deck, and it really helps get the deck moving. And I'm playing 1 Nahiri the Harbinger. Now you could play 2 of this if you felt like it. It of course really helps with the pace of this deck with its -8 ability. It of course is +2, you may discard a card, and if you do draw a card, this really helps cycle anything you don't want or don't need against the matchup game 1, and it also helps just cycling your hand to get the Bedlam Reveler until you get to its -8 ability. Its -2 is exile target enchantment, tapped artifact, or tapped creature. This of course just helps get things cleared if maybe you opened a lot of discard spells from your hand, and of course its -8 is search your library for an artifact or creature card, put it onto the battlefield, and shuffle your library. It gains haste, and of course it returns to your hand at the beginning of your next upkeep. This really helps. We don't play any artifacts, but we do play, of course, Reveler. It really helps, plus it gains haste, so you play this, you -8 it, you play the Reveler, and then of course you play a couple instants or sorceries. Really helps just get the game moving. Plus with your 1/1s, you can just tap all of them, swing with all of them, and see what happens. Maybe you're playing against a mainly counter deck. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but if you do, and it does happen, you do have things probably in your hand to help with that. Plus you have so much discard in this, it really just helps with that counter matchup. So the next things I'm playing, getting into this instance and sorceries, is 4 Faithless Looting. This is a great card in this deck. Draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, and plus it has flashback. You're playing 4 Lightning Bolt, which of course is my favorite card on Magic. It's of course a staple in any red deck in Modern. And we're playing 4 Inquisition of Kozilek. Great card. Target player reveals his or her hand. Choose a non-land card from it with the converted mana cost of 3 or less. That player discards that card. You could technically do this to yourself, but you don't want to. Usually you want to the opponent. Turn 1. You could also Thoughtseize them. Really good card, of course, overall. With Mardu, you do want to play a healthy amount of red, black, and white. This does mainly focus on black and red, but it does have some white in there to help, just so you don't have useless mana sitting out. We are playing 3 Lingering Souls, of course, to add to the white. It of course puts 2 1/1 white creature spirit tokens with flying onto the battlefield with flashback, plus it also has black in there for the flashback cost, so it is helping just that Mardu feel. We are playing 3 Kolaghan's Command, 1 colorless, 1 black, 1 red, and then you choose 2 of its abilities. Return target creature from your graveyard to your hand, target player discards a card, destroy target artifact, or it deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Got some really great abilities in there. It's got a wide variety of abilities. And then of course we're playing 3 Lightning Helix. Now you could put this down to 2, but I really like it at 3. I felt like maybe it had a little bit too low of a white use, so I did bump this up to 3. I was playing 4 Kolaghan's Command before, but I did bump Lightning Helix up to 3. Of course, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and you gain 3 life. Really helps with just a little bit extra life gain, and it does deal 3 to a target creature or player, so I thought this was just a great card in this deck, honestly. I really don't know why more people aren't playing it at 3, because I was looking at a couple different Mardu builds in Modern, and most play 2 or don't even play any, so definitely recommend this at 3. I've seen great results with it at 3, really helps with that extra life gain as well. We're playing 2 Thoughtseize. Now this is a card you could bump up to 4, and you could bump something else down, but I do like it at 2. Of course, we are playing the Inquisition of Kozilek as well, so you could play with the 4 of that and then the 2 of this. You could switch them up a little bit, but of course, Thoughtseize, target player reveals his or her hand, you choose a non-land card from it, that player discards that card, and you lose 2 life. So the lose 2 life kind of does counter the Lightning Helix, but it is pretty good. It is a sorcery. Of course, Thoughtseize is a staple in almost any black deck in Modern as well. I am playing 2 Fatal Push. Now this card could be played around with a lot. A lot of people play this at 4, a lot of people play this at 2. I personally play it at 2. I really like it at 2. I feel like at 4 I draw it a little bit too much, so I definitely recommend it maybe at 2, but you could play with it at 4. You could take out more of the discard effects if you felt like it. Of course, you could take out that poor Lightning Helix, but I feel like this build that I have right here does play a lot of black in it, so I did want to even that out with the Lightning Helix and add a little bit more white and red in there. But you could play, of course, Fatal Push at 4. It is a great card at 4 or at 2. And of course, I'm playing 1 Collective Brutality. I really like this card. You could bump this down, and you could not play this at all, but I do think it is good at 1. I do find that it does help me escalate and discard a card. Pay this cost for each mode chosen beyond the first, and then choose 1 or more. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose an instant or sorcery from it. That player discards that card. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn, or target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. I really do like this in here because it also goes with Lightning Helix with the gaining life, and of course opponent loses 2 life. I do find that the -2/-2 until end of turn honestly has helped me in a couple of situations, so that is really good to have. But the main one that you want to choose is the target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card from it, and that player discards it. There's a lot of discard in this, like I said, so this is of course helping with that. But honestly, you could play any of these abilities in any situation, and you could get away with it. It is very useful. Getting into the last one-ofs, we are playing 1 Dreadbore and 1 Terminate. Dreadbore is, of course, destroy target creature or planeswalker, and Terminate is destroy target creature. It can't be regenerated. You could bump these up, you could take these out. This is just a little bit of added destruction, and they are both 1 black, 1 red. I do like the it can't be regenerated, and I do also like the destroy target creature or planeswalker. I do notice that the planeswalker is very helpful. We are seeing a lot more planeswalkers lately, or from what I've faced, so I do like these at 1-ofs. I wouldn't put these really at upwards of any 1-ofs. I mean, you could play 2 Terminates or 2 Dreadbores and get rid of one of the others, but I do like these at an even 1-of each. And for a land base, I am playing 4 Blackcleave Cliffs, 2 Blood Crypt, 4 Bloodstained Mire, 1 Inspiring Vantage, 3 Marsh Flats, 2 Mountains, 1 Plains, 2 Swamps, and I am also playing 3 Godless Shrine, and 1 Sacred Foundry. The land base is pretty basic, it's straight to the point, it's Mardu colored. There's not much else to say about a land base other than it's got a good amount of fetches, it's got a good amount of the colors that we're playing, and yeah. And for the sideboard, I am playing 3 of each of these cards. Sideboard, of course, is depending on what you are playing against. If you have a local meta that is always changing, or that is different from mine, I play 3 Surgical Extraction, 3 Goblin Rabblemaster, 3 Camball Console of Allocation, 3 3 Stony Silence, and 3 Ensnaring Bridge. The only note that I would really make is I really enjoy all of these cards. They're really useful against what I personally play against, but sideboards are always changing. This is just the one I recommend because it's got an all-around help for something. For everything, you can find some kind of addition to the sideboard, of course, but I do think that this is a very well-rounded sideboard. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of my Mardu Nahiri deck. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I do find really great results with this deck. I really have fun playing with it because it does have a couple of different strategies that you could go with. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of it, what you would change of it, or if you even play a variance of this deck. So I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I'll talk to you guys again really soon.